What I'm going to show you right now is a tour of a social studies project to help the students in 8th grade social studies at Nova International School develop their portrayal of the country of their choice that they identify with. So first of all, we'll go to our menu, and you will see here that these are the guidelines in here for the project, okay? The one thing that I haven't uploaded yet is this actual video that I'm making right now. I can't upload it till I make it. You will notice here that all photos have the source and their citations. We go back to the menu. This happens to be made on Weebly, and by the way, you can see here are 2 tutorials on YouTube on how to make a Weebly website and how to upload videos like the one I'm making right now, which I will upload to YouTube and then onto the website. Because this is the free version, you cannot upload homemade videos. They have to be on YouTube. In here, you will see that one of the important areas that you must have is geography. I found an image, which is cited here, that shows some of the caricatures of the geography of Canada, a definition, an image of what geography is. And there are 2 links here that I embedded. And so then we can go to the physical geography, which is also on the menu. And more maps. This shows the different kinds of the relief, which is the mountains. Then I wrote this information about the physical geography of Canada. Oh, sorry, go back to physical geography. And there's a bunch of statistics here and stuff, and it's all cited coming from Stats Canada. And then there's the geographic regions of Canada with some images. And these are cited also. And you can see these are the different regions of Canada. Every country has different geography, so this happens to be particular to Canada. There's also bibliographic information from a book, which is also in the bibliography. And go back to the menu. There's a page on human geography. This is the political units and the provinces by size, population distribution, and an explanation of that. Major cities of Canada, with an image that I found on the internet that shows the different cities and where they're located in the country. Also, and you can see there that I changed the color of the font for this because it was white on white and it would be difficult to see. So I chose a color that is in keeping with the country, red being like the flag. And this is about the national parks. You can see how large they are. And the national parks of Canada. And I also embedded in here 2 videos, which are cited from In Short Planet and Ultra Modern Home on YouTube about the national parks for the viewing pleasure of my audience. This screenshot actually comes from Parks Canada, which is the header. And in Weebly, you will see that you can change the headers. And I've changed the headers for each page, trying to sell the beauty of the country. And every country has beauty. You can find images for every country that we could examine. Back here to the menu. And history. History is also a compulsory part of the project. Again, I found an image that very clearly shows this was actually history of Canada. And I have to cite that. Brief history of the Great White North. And a lot of this I wrote from my own knowledge because I happen to be Canadian and I know this information from since I was a child, but I did cite sources. And from the Government of Canada, they have a website where I kind of just confirmed the things that I already knew. And I put a little chart in here of when the different provinces joined. Then here, important historical figures in Canada. And this is a slideshow, okay? Each slide, I put a caption that explains what the picture is. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And so you can read about these people and see who they were. I also put in famous Canadians today, and these are 2 videos from from YouTube of actors, famous Canadian actors, and also famous Canadian musicians, just to share some of the culture with people of the history of Canada. And culture and economy. And again, a lot of this I wrote from my own understanding, but I also did some research. And I found this interesting little video here that's kind of comical. And then some data, all this coming from a legitimate website. By the way, there's no Wikipedia anywhere here because I went to primary sources to the most part. And this is from the Government of Canada or from other organizations. This here is a scribed document. This is a document coming from World Population Review, and what I did was I made a PDF of it and uploaded that into my website. Okay, we went back here, sorry. Okay, so the scribed document, this is when you have and this is good for like a serious article that you might want to include, but you don't want to summarize too much. You can just add it there, cite it, of course, and that has information for your audience. And then this is about what it's like to live in Canada, and these are some cultural references and information about gender equality, for example, which I got from US News and the United Nations. There's an article, and I actually added a funny song that I found on YouTube from when I was growing up that's kind of typical of Canada. There's also a report on the Canadian economy, and each one of these is sourced, these graphics, so you can find graphics like this. They don't necessarily have to be in English. If you find information in another language, all you have to do is explain it in a brief English description for your audience, which will be me. Okay, so there's some more graphs. This one here happens to do with Canadian exports. This has to do with the trade between the United States and Canada. And this here is another graphic of which provinces dominate in the economy. Every country and every individual around the world, as we know from our IMYC, have challenges. And so this here is about what I see as being the biggest challenges for Canada from my investigation. I included 2 videos, this one being the geography itself of a country so large with such a small population. To connect all these people is very expensive, takes a lot of taxpayer money, and also, as we know, from the oil sands. And how does a country balance the fact that it has a lot of natural resources but also wants to protect the environment? I also then, and this is a requirement for your project, is an interview. I interviewed 3 people who are older than me, interview 1, 2, and 3 below. And they happen to be my mother, a friend of mine who is a retired political scientist from university, and an interview with a former colleague who's now retired in Canada. To give a perspective, you need to interview people who are much older than you. I would recommend interviewing grandparents, aunts and uncles. You can do it I did this by email. I sent them the questions and they answered. You could also do a video or a voice recording and embed it into your website. Renewal is also reflection. I talked about this in class. And you guys are in 8th grade getting ready for preparing for something new. I'm also preparing for a move to another country where I will again go into administration. And teaching you this year has been a renewal for me. But doing this project also was a renewal for my reflections on Canada and all the things that I've learned from this project. This is totally in the first person. This is the only place in your website that you should be using the word I, because this is your personal reflection. I also made this Venn diagram. This is compulsory that you have a Venn diagram. You can do it by hand and take a photo, or you can do it through a template like on Google Docs or on Word for a Venn diagram. So this is comparing Canada and the USA. I included the fact that both countries have Macedonians. We learned about the diaspora of Macedonians and the source, and I put an asterisk to explain that the inclusion of Macedonia on that Venn diagram. This here is a survey, and I'm putting in for feedback. And so now people who visit my website can give me feedback, and I can collect information on how they feel about Canada or the website. And your project needs a bibliography. And this is an MLA form. It took some time. I would recommend that you write this down, record this as you're collecting information. Don't go back and try to find it. And these are all the different sites and sources where information was collected and images for this website. And so there you go. I hope that you enjoyed your project, and more than anything, the ability and the opportunity to discover your own country, or that of your grandparents or your parents, of your ancestry. I could have easily have done this about Holland. I could have done it about Mexico, where I lived for many years and became a citizen. We want you to, more than anything, to engage with your family and discover and renew your passion for different parts of the world through this project. Thank you very much.